one thing that's happened definitely in the age of the internet, the smartphone, and social media is that people's attention spans are being trained to expect to receive video, images, content, and storytelling, really, in extremely short, digestible increments that are totally compatible with the kind of multifaceted distraction in which all of us who are sort of online all the time are kept at all times. I'm Ross Douthat, your host for the Film and Culture series at the Athenaeum Center for Thought and Culture. That can mean everything from, you're watching videos on TikTok to you're watching clips from movies on YouTube. I've probably watched more scenes from my favorite movies on YouTube by far in the last 5 years than I have actually sat down and watched the movies themselves, so I'm experiencing this as much as anybody. But what that means is something that, is not unique to the movies. It's true across all cultural realms, right? Which is that people are being trained to sort of experience and interact with content in a particular way, and they're being trained against sort of sustained in-depth interactions where you're shutting out distraction and shutting out other influences, right? And, this doesn't just affect the movies, it obviously affects how people read. People are less likely to read 400-page books, 500-page novels than they would have been before the internet. The internet is really well-suited in certain ways, I'm ashamed to admit it, to the kind of work I do, where, you're writing columns between 800 and 1,500 words. And it's just a life lived inside the internet is just not well suited to dives into to sustained engagement with serious writing. And this is true in the visual realm as well. When I watch a television show at home on my flat screen TV, unless the show is just incredibly immersive and, is sort of constantly grabbing you and surprising you and transfixing you, I'm likely to not just pause and do something else, but go on my device, go on my smartphone and consume some other form of content while I'm experiencing the content that I'm watching on TV. And when I'm doing that, I'm not just sort of being distracted, I'm training myself to a particular kind of watching that is just radically different from the kind of watching that we associate with going to a movie theater and being in the power of a director or a movie star or a set of great actors or a brilliant screenwriter or, since movies are a collaborative art form, all of those people and more for 2 hours, 2.5 hours at a time. So I'm being trained away from that, and to the point where when I do go to the movies, I have to really fight not to distract myself even when I'm at the movies themselves with a peek at my phone. So that's clearly a shift in training, habituation, and expectations that works against the kind of experience that the movies have traditionally offered and have been built around. And so there has been real loss, and it's worth thinking about the specifics of that loss.